you're going to see. You're going to see a Google slideshow, and that Google slideshow is going to give you access to the template, and it's going to allow you to start adding images. Okay, so that's your assignment. It's a blank template basically that gives you a couple of slides. First and foremost, I like to do this. I added the instructions on a separate slide so that you can see it, and there's a link that should take you to a tutorial video, which I'll show you in just a second. And then I've also given you a blank slide. This blank slide, and you can delete these text boxes just by clicking on them and going to delete. But you want to do that. I guess I should have did that, but I didn't. No big deal. It's easy to delete. Just click on them, delete real fast. And what you're going to see then is a blank slide. So everybody has a copy of this in their Google Drive. So when you open it, it'll be your own copy and you can edit it. I like to pull images from the internet and put on the blank slide. Because what you're going to do is you're going to find that you're going to be manipulating this slide over here. You're going to be like moving images around and stuff, trying to fill space. And you can zoom in on this. So you go to view, zoom, and you can actually make your lockers bigger. Okay. When you do that, though, be careful, because once you click on it and try to drag it, you're actually dragging the image. So you don't really want to drag the image. So zoom appropriately. Okay, so this is just the image file, and everything else is going to go on top of this image file. And it's important that that stuff be transparent. And I'll show you why. Let me go to my blank slides, or my other Google Slides. All right, so you see the stuff that you have. So let me go way down through here and maybe find one that I've created. Here it is. So I'm going to give you an example. The example is going to be my example that I've created, and I'm going to kind of walk you through verbally what I did so that you can try to mimic that, I guess. So this is my blank template. And on that blank template, I just duplicated that so that I would have that blank template. And it's a little different than yours, just because I kind of kept it kind of cartoony so it fits my Bitmoji. If you have Snapchat, you can download Bitmoji and create a emoji of yourself. You can, you do this pretty easily. And if you have a Google add-on, or actually, yeah, a browser add-on. I have a browser add-on called Bitmoji. You can go to your Google extensions and actually download Bitmoji for your Chromebooks. So if you have that on your phone and you want to create a Bitmoji and then you get the extension for your browser, you can actually go in and play around with this. It will pop up and you can copy and paste. So I created kind of a Indiana Jones looking Bitmoji guy, and you can just copy and paste those guys into your Google Slides. All you do is right click, copy, right click, paste, or however else you would do that on your Chromebooks. But that's pretty straightforward. I did that. You don't have to do that. You can go in if you wanted to add a person leaning up against your lockers just to represent you. You can do that. You can go to images, search the web, and you can like type something like, let me move this out of the way. You can type something like transparent student image or something. Some sort of Google search like that, and it will bring up different images of students, and they should have a transparent background. Okay, that's step one. And if you don't like those, fine. I mean, some of them are going to not represent you perfectly, but that's just a way to incorporate your own personality in your locker as I did, if you don't have Bitmoji, and if you don't have Snapchat, you don't have to have Snapchat to get Bitmoji. Just download the Bitmoji app, and you have to do it on your phone first, and then you can carry it over to your computer, and you have to log in with the same credentials and all that stuff. But you can get it on your computer, if you want to add your personality that way and you like messing around with those apps. Or what you can do is you can go to Google and find an image, because the slides image search is not going to be as comprehensive as a Google image search. So you're going to want to search student background, student transparent image. I think I spelled student wrong. And that's going to give you kind of like other images that you can work with. Okay, so once you do that, it's not going to be 100% fact that it's got a white background. So if you find that you're inserting your picture and it's not saved as a PNG or .png, it's probably not going to be a transparent background. You can copy and paste and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you have to do something else. You actually have to save the image to your computer, and you have to go in and you have to edit it. So how can you edit your images? And this applies to not just your student images, but also your images of like Mountain Dew cans or whatever else whatever you want to put in your locker. So when I find that an image has a white background that I can't get rid of, I save it to my computer and I go to this website, and I'll put this in the Google Classroom. So it's remove.bg. So if you go to remove.bg, all you have to do, and this lives on the internet, you just sign in. Whoops. You just sign in and just go to remove background. You upload an image, remove background. You can drop the file from your computer. You can pull it over. Remove background. It works just like that. Good to go. It gets rid of that white background and resaves it as something different, and then you can pull it into your virtual locker. So what's it look like once you get all your images squared away and you're using transparent images? It looks something like this. So let's go back to my locker. I'm gonna get rid of my image search, and I'm going to present this as a slideshow. When I present it as a slideshow, you can see all of the detail that I put into my locker. Okay, so in my locker, obviously there's myself, and then let's go from the top shelf down, and then we'll get the door. So from the top shelf going down, the very first image you're going to see is a book image. So this is not my favorite book, but it is a book that I am really proud of, because I actually won a writing contest and I got some stories published a few years ago. So I consider this a claim to fame that I'm a published author and that my writing doesn't stink. So that book is very important to me. I actually have 2 different books that I got published in. You know, hopefully maybe in the future I'll get published again, but it's a really rewarding feeling. So I'll put that in there to represent my personality, because I like to write short stories directed toward little kids. So this was just a short story I wrote about a kangaroo, and it won a contest, and there you have it. The next thing on my locker shelf, I have a pepperoni roll. Favorite food, love pepperoni rolls. And I have a Mountain Dew can. That's my favorite drink of choice, as you can see. So that's sort of like me right there. Mountain Dew and pepperoni rolls. You'll probably see me with that a lot. Okay, so I hung a hat in my locker. This hat is a fedora. It's actually a hat that one of my favorite actors wear. I actually have a version of this at the house. I have one called a bogey hat. It's a fedora. Humphrey Bogart made it popular. So that's just a hat in reference to Humphrey Bogart. Going down further into the locker here, you see a lightsaber. I'm a Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan ever, but I do like the movies. Never seen the ones from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Don't like those movies, but I like the older ones and the newer ones. So I put Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in here, just sort of as a reference to Star Wars. And then you're going to see a GoPro. I like to make videos, just this kind of video, or dumb videos with my kids, or TikTok videos with my wife, just dumb videos. And, you know, I like technology and cameras and that kind of stuff. Next, we got the Bible in my locker because I'm a Christian, and, I owe a lot of the good stuff in my life to God. So I had to give him a shout out. Putting a Bible in my locker always lets me know that he's close to me. And then you're probably wondering, what is this crazy thing coming out of my locker? This is actually The Blob from the movie The Blob. It's one of my favorite movies. It's a really old movie, and it's Steve McQueen's very first movie. If you don't know who that is, he's a really famous actor from back in the day, did a lot of racing movies, really popular for what he liked to do with cars and motorcycles and stuff. But The Blob was one of his first movies ever, and this is The Blob Coming to Get Me. It's a horror movie, but he's not too scary. Okay, so what about my door over here? In my door, you're gonna see a GoPro sticker. Again, just a reference to the movies I like to make, and I have GoPro. I like using the GoPro, like using different lights. I've got a Rode microphone and halo lights and all kinds of crazy stuff that you'll see when you get to class. All right, and then there's a picture of me and my wife. Everybody has pictures in their lockers of boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, favorite actors, actresses. This is a picture of me and my wife. And I've got 3 little kids. You're probably wondering why I didn't put a picture of my 3 little kids in my locker, because I put something else directed toward them in my locker. This is an I Love Lucy sticker. I call Lorelai Lucy. That's her nickname. And so that's just for her. And then you can see a Mick Jagger poster right here. This is How to Move Like Jagger. My little boy's name is Jagger, and kind of probably thinking about the song Moves Like Jagger. He wasn't necessarily named after that song, but they were out around the same time, and that was pretty cool. So Moves Like Jagger is reference to him. And then you're going to see Cinderella picture at the very bottom, a Cinderella sticker peeking up from underneath the locker there. That's in reference to my youngest kid, my little girl Desi. Her name's actually Desi Cinderella, and she's named after my wife's mom, whose real name is Cinderella. We call her Cindy, but she's really named Cinderella, and it's pretty cool. But my little girl thinks she's a princess anyway, so Cinderella is a fitting name for her. She likes baby dolls and girly girl stuff and makeup and all the stuff that Lorelai never did, so that's pretty cool. So that's my locker. That's what I would put on my locker if I were a student. Like, I don't know why I would be an adult student having kids and a wife and all this stuff. But hey, if I had a locker somewhere and I got to add a bunch of stuff to it, this is what I would add to it and why. Your job now is to take what you learned from me and kind of give it your own spin on your own locker. I'm going to exit this slideshow, and I'm actually going to go back into your slideshow if I can find it here. Let's go back. I'm going to pull up a tutorial video that shows you how to do this assignment, and you'll have like the rest of the day and all day tomorrow to kind of work on it, play around with it. Some of you have me for English. You're doing a similar assignment. Just kind of try to figure out Google Slides is what the point of the assignment is. So that's, if you want to know why we're doing this, that's why. So you can figure out how to manipulate Google Slides, because we'll use it a lot. All right, so if you'll go down on your instructions page, I'm going to show you a tutorial video, and then I'm going to let you go. That tutorial video is going to be right there. And if you put that in presentation mode, you'll be able to click on that tutorial video. I don't necessarily need to do that right now. I just copied the link. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that link in a browser. Okay, so it takes you to this particular place called We Are Teachers. Bitmoji lockers are the new Bitmoji classrooms and a great icebreaker for students. Yeah, it works. It's pretty cool. I like the idea of a Bitmoji locker, so I wanted to show you guys a bunch of different Bitmoji locker ideas. You can add your sports, favorite sports interests, favorite movie stars, anything that relates to you. And you don't just have to use the locker. You can use your Bitmojis or your clip art, and you can add things to your hands. You can add things out beside you. It's interesting take on assigning lockers in school. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see some videos. This one is just you share sound. This one is just a sort of like animated locker that shows what's going on inside her locker. It just piles up some books and the bike is rotating around. So this one's pretty cool. Hers is actually animated, which is very neat. You do not have to animate your locker, but that would be cool. All right, and if we go on down, you're going to see some more videos that are tutorial videos. Somewhere down through here. Ah, there we go. Okay.
Let's go over some directions on how you can make your virtual locker. So you've got your directions page, and a few slides down, you have an option for blue lockers or red lockers. I suggest you begin by picking which set of lockers you are going to use, and then you're going to make a copy of that slide.
Okay, you don't have to do that. Your locker's already set, and you can just use the locker that you've been given. I didn't like the red lockers. They weren't really an option on what I created. I don't like them on the video, but the blue lockers tend to be more muted. So all your stuff's going to stand out more on the blue lockers.
So I'm going to pick the red lockers. I am on that slide, so it's highlighted, and I'm going to go up to File, Make a Copy, and I'm not going to pick entire presentation. I am going to pick selected slides, and I'm going to save that to my Google Drive. It might take it a minute to load. So let's see what that looks like. And actually, I'm going to go up here and change the name of it right away. Do not turn into your teachers something that says copy of virtual locker. Let's keep the virtual locker part. And let's say that I am a student whose name is Anna Smith. So I'm going to put my name as part of the title for my virtual locker.
Okay, and that's a good idea. If you could go up to the top after you open the assignment and it's copied for you, you can access it by opening up, and in the top left-hand corner of your Google Slides screen should be the file name for you to be able to change it to make it your own. So just put virtual locker 5th period, and then you can put your name.
Now the idea is for you to decorate it with images that represent you and things that you like. Back on the original directions page, one of the pages on there are some images that already have the backgrounds removed, and so they are easy to use if any of those work for you. So let's say that you are a Warriors fan. You are going to select that image of that warrior pennant there. And when it's selected, if you do a right click or an alt click, depending on your computer, Go to copy, then go back to your red locker and paste. Looks kind of tiny. So if you grab a corner and drag diagonally, you could play around with the size of it, and you might move it around and try to see where it looks good. If you grab that little circle that's at the top, you can also rotate it. So I'm thinking that might look good hanging down inside my locker. I like that. And then I could go look at the stickers some more.
Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna kind of just talk to you a little bit. We're gonna stop looking at the video. This is a 20-minute long video, guys. So I want you to access this video by clicking on the link in your assignment page on the instructions. It's highlighted in blue, and you just click on it. You might need to access presentation mode, or you can just right-click, copy, and then paste that into the URL bar. But it'll take you to the page where you can then scroll down to the bottom of the page, and this tutorial video is on there. I didn't add a sticker page because I didn't want everybody using the same stickers, number one. Number two, I wanted you to be able to create images on your own and remove the backgrounds. So that's kind of why I want you to be able to look for transparent images, and I want you to be able to use remove.bg or other software to remove those backgrounds. Because this is a layering project, it's going to ask you to layer stuff on top of each other. And you can orient things in Google Slides by, I think you right click on it or alt click, and you can orient it. You can send it backwards, you can bring it forward, wherever you want it, to overlay it on top of something else or behind something else. You can do that. And these stickers weren't very good anyway for this assignment. Not much of these probably relate to you, but you go out and you make it your own and you find stuff that does. So do an image search. Try to do image search for transparent images or images with .png file extensions. So if you go to Google, let me close out of this.
Um,
All right, if you go to Google, there we go. You can go actually type in sportscar.png. Okay, and what that does is it gives you images that have the white backgrounds already removed. So let's say you wanted to add a Doritos bag.png. That gives you the images already removed, and you can probably copy and paste. Okay, and if you go in and you type in the notebook.png, that's going to give you a copy of the book or the CD or something that, or I mean DVD, that will be transparent. Or if you type in xbox.png, that's going to give you a controller or an Xbox that already has the background removed. And you can also type in Xbox transparent, and that does the same thing. It gives you transparent images that are already removed, and you're going to have to test them out, copy and paste them, and that will let you know whether or not the background images have been removed. And if it's not, go back and copy and paste a different one. You don't have to use the exact image, but just whatever your interests are. If you wanted to put in a pennant banner, like those little triangles, then those come up, and you can find some that are transparent. You can decorate your locker with lights. If you use the extension transparent, some of those images will actually be transparent, and you can put little lights in your locker, or you can type .png. That's a file extension that I always like to use because it gives you images that already have the background removed. You just have to make sure it saves as PNG. So you can either right click, save as, or you can load the web page. But if I right click, save image as, okay, that one's going to save as a JPEG. So we don't want that one. You go look for another one. Here's some Christmas lights. If I right click, save image as, look, it saves as a PNG. So sometimes you get a thumbnail view that won't save as a PNG, but sometimes you will. So these images will save as a PNG, and you can pull those over, or you can just copy and paste this image. So you would just right click, copy image, and I can go to my virtual locker and really quickly, before time's up, I can paste. Let's just load. Okay, so I just go right click, or I can edit, paste, and that will put the image in my document. You might have to tweak it a little bit, and it might come up like that, and you have to remove the backgrounds or go back to Google and find something else. Long story